Everybody, video here for you today. I thought I'd make a request video since I'm just hanging around home today. Was out on the strip last night, so I'm just taking it easy today. Saw Dendel for the first time in about 5 weeks, and I recorded a song with her. That might be coming up later. But let's talk about some ancient American history, an ancient site down here in Florida that fits into things I have talked about recently. I talked about the Serpent Mound on the border of Iowa and South Dakota about 2 weeks ago. I've talked about Serpent Mounds all over the ancient United States. I've had some messages on this place, so why don't we go down to Ortona, Florida today, make a video on this site. Pretty fascinating area down here. And Florida has a fascinating history. I've made many videos on Florida. I made the video on Big Mound City here, right next to Lake Okeechobee. I made a video on the Miami Circle, right down in a very affluent neighborhood down there. I think I found a mound site down here in southern Florida. Mound Key, Mound House near Fort Myers. Warm Mineral Springs, I think that goes back into the younger Dryas. Crystal River Mounds, Windover Pond site, I think that goes back 7,000 years, people buried in a bog. And also the Page Ladson site, that one goes well back before the younger Dryas. Florida has a fascinating history. But let's talk about the Ortona site right down here. The ruins, big Serpent Mound found in this location down here. But let's talk about what was found at Ortona right down here. Ortona Indian Mounds Park, mounds, and a serpent effigy, similar to the one we see at Serpent Mound and spread across all of ancient America. Here is one artist's conception of what this place looked like. We had conical mounds, a long mound here, and in the distance back here, this is very interesting. Down in Florida, a serpent effigy with an open mouth and something in his jaws, just like the famous one in Ohio. And one I showed in Rice County, Kansas. One I talked about on the border of South Dakota and Iowa. I have showed one in Afton, Minnesota, right near the shore of that lake down there. I have showed one in Chicago, one lost to history, an ancient serpent mound. Talked about one in Alabama. And I have showed other ones. I showed one in Blythe and Talios in California, the same symbolism. So we have the same symbolism coming from Florida, Ohio, Minnesota, California, Kansas, all over the ancient United States. So not only was trade very interesting, the massive trade system by the rivers, but this ancient symbolism displaying the serpent and the open mouth. But just looking at the site, this is fairly unique. I talked about one site, maybe the Nodina site. I can't remember. A lot of videos on ancient America, and they all kind of get jumbled in my mind. But I remember a video I did where there was a mound like this, and then it had a long ramp off of it. And I believe it was aligned to Orion, so I'm sure they were watching the stars down here, and there was probably alignments built into these. There was one interesting thing written about what the serpent could represent, and I'll talk about that in a little bit here. But based on the formation of that mound and where that mound sits, that seems to be representing a celestial body, but that's what all ancient cultures did. They watched the heavens. Here is another diagram done, so you can match it up with this body of water here, where these ancient mounds used to be. And then you have the serpent right there with the mouth open, something in the mouth. I think this is one of the most important things to research in ancient America, just because we have this symbolism from coast to coast in many places. So just wrap your head around that. And I talked about Serpent Mound a few times, but have we really got into what this ancient mound really represents? We know it faces the summer solstice sunset, but what is the meaning behind this? And I just put out one thought here in this video: the younger Dryas, the Roseau structure, and the serpent that ate the world. I will leave a few links below, but let's just do a little reading here. It says, around 250 AD, a village was constructed in the Lake Okeechobee area of South Florida that was unlike any other village created in the Americas. The site is known today as the Ortona Indian Mound Site. It featured a network of man-made canals, ponds, and numerous earthworks in a variety of shapes. Many of these shapes are suggestive of astronomical features. One earthwork constructed in the form of a serpent appears to represent the constellation Serpens Caput. And did I say that right? I'm just reading that for about the second time here, and I say it different each time. But it says, if confirmed, this earthwork would be the earliest Serpent Mound in the Americas and the only earthwork in the world to represent a constellation. And that is very much up for speculation. It says, Ohio's Serpent Mound, and let me get over to that. It says, Ohio Serpent Mound is undoubtedly the most famous ancient Native American earthwork, although academics debate the original date of construction. Most believe it was built around 1070 AD, and I believe there has been work done that has pushed Serpent Mound's construction maybe back about 2,000 years back into history. It says, yet Florida's Serpent Mound at Ortona Mound site was built over 750 years earlier. But what do these represent? They say the one in Florida may represent a constellation, and that constellation, interestingly enough, a meteor shower comes out of that constellation. So is that what they are depicting? Serpents and comets and things coming down from outer space have been connected in ancient cultures all the way back through time. But I think that is very interesting. They say this might represent a constellation. And of course, Serpent Mound is constructed in an area where there is an ancient impact crater. So that's all stuff to think about, I guess. What were they trying to tell us all over ancient America with the serpent here with the open mouth and the whatever formation in the middle of the jaws? Some say this might represent a constellation, at least this one, but all the other ones spread out all through ancient America, all the way to California, up into Minnesota, all over. And I talked about other ones I know I haven't even mentioned today, but here is one other diagram of this site. Very interesting. This is very close to Big Mound City. I did that video probably almost 2 or 3 years ago, and that is right near Lake Okeechobee, a mound site that still has the mounds, just kind of lost to history like this place is. Here is another diagram of this ancient mound site found in Florida with the serpent right here. It was destroyed, I guess, for road fill like many other sites in ancient America. I'm just reporting on this. You want to look more into this, I will leave some links below, and it goes into that constellation and the meteor shower that comes out of it. But things coming down from space, it had to have a great effect on ancient cultures. That is my video on the Ortona Indian Mound site, lost to history in Florida. Pretty fascinating and unique place, that is for sure. But when we look to answers at a place like this, well, I think we have to look up into the stars, into the heavens, that is for sure. But that is a place I enjoyed talking about today. Cemetery today near the site, like a lot of ancient America sites. If you have anything to add to that, please do. That is a video, Ancient America. I like doing those. Oops, I don't have my sites plugged in. I restarted my computer, having a little bit of difficulty talking today and doing this video, but I finally got it done. I hope you have a nice day, and you might see a video coming up a little later, a little music. For new subs, I upload music too. Why? Because I can. Hope you thought that was cool, and you all have a very nice day.